Would you rather have radioactive steroids injected into you, or have Falcon's flying machine?
Dude, yeah, Falcon's kind of lame. I don't
But
know.
he could fly though.
Well, the flying machine's cool, but that's really all he's got.
Well, you get the flying.
He's
machine.
got like some goggles.
All right, throw on like
a
laser
pretty
hands.
nice drone or something.
You can shoot lasers out of your fingers, and you get to fly, or you have radioactive steroids.
I want to be the Cap.
You want radioactive steroids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be Cap.
That's just not surprising at all. How that answer worked out.
Hey, I'm a small dude.
Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast here from Digital Trends, where we talk about movies and entertainment and everything going on in the world of that. We catch you up to date with everything we've learned throughout the week and try to get you ready for the next week. We are live broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. And because of that, we can take your comments and your questions. And we want to hear what you think, what you have to say. The question that we posted up there wasn't about whether or not you want radioactive steroids or a
But
flying
it
machine.
maybe should have been.
But maybe it should have been. Yeah. The question was this. So Disney has announced yet another standalone series for their upcoming streaming service, and it's this one. It's another Marvel spinoff where Falcon and Winter Soldier are getting their own series. We know Loki's already getting one. We know Scarlet Witch is getting one. Who else deserves a standalone series? That's what we want to ask you. And then, of course, we'll get to a lot of other things. We do have an exclusive interview with Jemaine Clement.
Yeah.
Jemaine Clement that Ryan interviewed. So we're going to be playing that a little bit. We have a lot to come. I'm Greg.
I gushed. I'm Ryan Juanita.
I'm sorry, you what?
I gushed. He's like one of my heroes, and I got to interview him. It's kind of annoying. Like you're like, oh my, I like you.
Hi, Jemaine. Do you remember that?
It's not like it wasn't like Paul McCartney gushing, but yeah,
Flight
like
of the Conchords.
I've been into Concords forever, so it was pretty exciting. He's
sang
just
a
a funny guy,
song.
and what we do in the shadows saved me a little bit. But that's a whole nother story.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to have a very emotional moment here on the show today. Ryan's going to be very raw. Ryan's going to feel a lot about himself.
It gets really dramatic. Because
very-
it's Jemaine Clement, so it's very dramatic.
There's going to be some tears today. All
That's
right.
true.
Before we get to the waterworks here, why don't we talk about this? So Disney with their streaming service. It's the upcoming streaming service. We've seen a lot of superhero series taken away in the last couple of weeks because of the fact that they're taking them away from Netflix.
Right, a couple anyway. And it looks like, and some of that had to do, we found out, with some viewing numbers, because this company did their independent, some kind of weird algorithm. I don't even want to get into it. I'm not a mathematician.
Yeah.
But they figured out that all of these series have been way down in their second season, the ones that got canceled, including both Iron Fist and Luke Cage. So now,
which is the surprising one, Luke Cage getting canceled.
And Daredevil 3 is actually down. Its viewing is down. So could Daredevil 3 be next? Season 3, that's possible. But yeah, getting back to the
I mean, I think at this point for the Netflix series, like, why even continue?
No, I think that they are all looking at the axe.
I mean, they already have the second season of Punisher that's supposedly filmed.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point,
I think
for me, I start
Punisher's coming out, but I think we're looking towards the end of this, and part of that is just Netflix and Disney severing ties, which we talked about on air, and I wrote a piece about it. But I think you might be right. But getting back to the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing. What's interesting about that is a lot of us think, we don't know, but a lot of us think that old Cappy is heading for a fall.
Right.
And in some of the comics, at least some of the tangents of the comics, Winter Soldier replaced him as Captain America. But in some of the others, Falcon. So are these guys getting together because one of them is going to emerge as... Like a
10-episode competition between
think about it. You're Disney. You're losing one of your biggest stars. He wants to go out and do some stuff. It's Chris Evans. So you need to replace Captain America. And how do you do that and make that film a success? Well, one way you might do it is make the transition from one of these characters in your TV show, which you're also trying to push your new streaming service.
Yeah.
So maybe they make him Captain America on the TV show. He makes the transition during the show, one of the two. And then you've got your fodder for your next Captain America movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one way you could do it. That's really putting a lot of pressure on that streaming service. But I mean, it's Disney.
People are going to watch this TV show. They're using their real star. They're big stars.
I was already sold just with Loki.
Absolutely.
Scarlet Witch, I still don't really get that character.
Not sure if that's going to be a big hit.
Not understanding what they're going with that, but I mean, maybe there's something good there.
And I still don't know if we have solidified that all of these series are happening, but they're definitely being spoken about all over the place. And even if they were official, like Disney could still cancel any time. So we don't know that for sure.
That's true. Well, we are live, and we want to hear what your thoughts are on this and who else you think should get a series. I do have a thought on that. Just want to say shout out here, looking at YouTube. Creepy Dave is from Austria. Hello from Austria, Creepy Dave.
Good day, mate.
And we've got Joven. No, that was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber joke. It's okay.
Anyway, Joven Oliver says, greetings from the Philippines.
I do know the country. I lived in Austria for a while, but go ahead.
I mean, now you're just over-explaining it. Now it's just awkward for everybody here. But, okay.
I feel fine about it.
So, but yeah, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So let us know who you think should get a standalone series. I think if they could do one, the Hulk would be a great one.
Like Hulk, like Planet Hulk, you mean? Or you mean like back to Origins?
Maybe, yeah, just Hulk. I mean,
have there not been enough Hulk origin stories for you so far?
No, it doesn't have to be an origin story. Just Hulk now. I mean, go back to like the classic show where it's just, a real guy walking around,
thumbing it.
Saddest theme song in the world.
Thumbing it.
Yeah, something like that.
I loved The Incredible Hulk when I was a kid.
It was great.
It was a fantastic show. I mean, actually, it wasn't that great, but I did love it as a kid.
Well, I liked it.
It was just that guy whoever it was. Playing the main guy, and then Hulk smashing.
And then Lou
Ferrigno smashing through a wall. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sad. I'm angry.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Kool-Aid Man.
Well, anyway, that's my impression. I'll audition for it. So anyway,
pretty good.
That's one theory that we could have. So talking about the Disney standalone streaming service, we do have some other things. Well, news of something that was. I guess we have the Star Wars streaming series that's going to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We already know about that one. I guess this isn't
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Right.
Thank you. The Mandalorian that's going to be coming out, and lots more news that I'm sure that we're going to be getting with that. We do have, though, on the Disney movie front, as far as Star Wars side, we have some things that are being taken away, and that's the Boba Fett movie is officially off.
Officially not happening, which makes a lot of sense when you understand that The Mandalorian is basically sort of a spin-off Boba Fett story. It's going to be about similar bounty hunter characters.
Right.
So why would you have a movie when you've already got a TV show?
Well, why is there a Boba Fett movie anyway?
Yeah, we've talked about
Boba Fett, but it's just I don't think he needs a movie.
And I think you just hit on it. It's because he's like a cult favorite, and they were like,
yeah.
But I don't think
you're only going to screw it up.
I never really thought the Boba Fett movie was going to happen.
No one is going to be happy with it.
Well, how can they when the guy has literally only said like 2 sentences on screen in his entire?
Yeah, that just seems like a losing battle all around.
His entire career.
So that's where we're going. Okay, question here. Okay, a comment in the chat. Paolo20 says Miami Vice with Hulk and Thor. I like that. Yeah, where they're walking around solving crimes.
Solve crimes?
I would absolutely watch that.
Which one's Crockett and which one's Tubbs?
Gosh, I don't know. I didn't watch enough Miami Vice.
Yeah, well...
Don Johnson would have to be Thor. I mean...
Yeah, I suppose he would. Yeah. That makes sense.
That'd have to be, whoever that was. All right, well, I like that idea. Put the characters in different roles. Creepy Dave says, do you think that Netflix is going to die? No. Netflix is going to be just fine.
Is going to be... They are
with their
already poised to be one of the biggest networks of all. I mean, if anything, pay TV is in more trouble than Netflix is right now. They're on pace to hit their original quote, which they thought they were going to hit by 2020, which is 200 million subscribers.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest networks globally. Their global ambitions are part of the big reason that they're doing so well right now. And while their stock is not doing as well as it was, they're really well positioned, and we talked about this before. They spent, I mean, that's a little bit of if you have any scare with Netflix, it might be the spending. They were supposed to spend $8 billion in 2018.
Yeah.
Now it's been rumored, or at least news posts have talked about the fact that they spent about $13 billion, or will have spent $13 billion.
$13 billion, and and you think about it, like I thought it was a big number that what Apple was spending on their original content, and that's $1 billion.
Drop in the bucket.
Nothing compared to what Netflix
drop in the bucket
is spending. $13 billion on original content. So they'll probably be okay.
Netflix is going to be just fine. And when you see these cancellations, you're seeing them for strategic reasons, you're seeing them for viewership reasons, and you're seeing them for licensing reasons where they are trying to sever ties with movie studios and TV studios. At the same time, those studios are trying to sever ties with Netflix and compete against them directly with their own streaming services. So it's a weird mess right now in streaming land.
And we'll see what happens with it. So anyway, talking about just the streaming services are crazy with that. But Boba Fett movie is off. Getting back to that side, why don't we go on to this? So we have a lot of other things that we want to talk about. Some renewed series.
Tell them about the interview.
And the interview. With old Waterworks Juanita over here, who did an interview.
Don't missell it. That he's being funny. It's a very funny interview.
No, I know it's
it's fun.
So we do have a great interview with Jemaine Clement that Ryan conducted. We're going to be playing that here in just a little bit on the show.
Playing a clip from it.
Playing a clip for it if you're watching the video. Play the full thing on the podcast.
Got to get the podcast for the whole interview.
In a bit. Hit subscribe on the audio podcast. All right, let's talk about, let's talk about the weekend box office right now, because the big movie that's coming out, really, is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, it is.
And that's the movie about Queen.
It's doing okay. It's making a lot of money. It still looks like a fun movie to me. The critical reception has been a little mediocre. I think if you're really into
saying about it, that they're not.
I don't know. I think it was really hyped up. I mean, it still looks like a pretty fun movie to me. I think
it's a tough act to cover.
I think that's
Freddie
the problem.
Mercury's pretty seminal, large character in life and in history.
I think generally they think that some of the critical response has been that they, sort of brushed over the details a little bit. It's a little less substance than they wanted, a little more flash. But
gotcha.
I don't know. I think Rami Malek is going to give a good performance, and that's the other thing, though. If you like these kinds of movies, you'll probably like it. If you liked The Doors, if you like these kind of, if you liked Ray, if you like these kind of music biopics, you're probably going to dig it.
Absolutely my wheelhouse. I love all of those.
Really? Because I know people
you just mentioned I like.
I know super deep music fans who do not like the biopics. They think it makes it too much drums and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of whatever's your bag.
I totally understand that side too, but I mean, I'm still going to watch them.
Yeah, I think it looks fun.
I'm not going to take them as, this is absolutely how their life was. This is, almost like you're watching a documentary. I mean, it's a movie about somebody, but it's still fun to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoy those movies, so I will probably like it.
And in this day and age, when no one reads, this is the only way you can learn things, is by watching biopics.
What's reading? I don't understand. All right, so that is out this weekend. You can check out Bohemian Rhapsody and let us know what you think as far as whether you enjoyed it or whether maybe it's not as good. Maybe the critics were right.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll have to find out.
All right, so moving on here from that, let's talk about some things getting renewed. The Orville Season 2, which we did know it was getting renewed, but we got a trailer for it.
Well, and speaking of critical, success or not, this was panned by the critics. I think it's great. So, critics don't know everything, and you always need to put your own, get your own perspective on it, figure it out if it's for you. But yeah, I'm really glad this is happening. It's a fun show.
Yeah, and so I honestly haven't watched it yet.
I've only watched a couple episodes, so I have to.
I want to ask you this. I mean, should I start watching it? Do you think it's worth it? I mean,
I think it's totally fun. And if you like sci-fi and comedy, I think it takes a little while to get off the ground, but all the elements are there from the first episode. I think the characters are good. I think Seth MacFarlane is good in it, and it's like, if you're into Star Trek, I don't see why you wouldn't like it.
All right,
unless you're like one of those super serious, nerdified Star Trekkers where it's like, this is not accurate to the,
How's that voice go?
That's your voice. I'm doing your voice.
I know.
I'm doing the Greg.
It's not actually accurate.
There it is. That's the voice.
Okay, so.
But I'm a Star Trek super fan, so
I am too.
I dig it. So.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to there's the other Star Trek series, the animated series that's going to be coming to the CBS All Access, which is being created by one of the sorry, what am I blanking on? One of the creators of cartoon.
Some kind of thing.
Help me out. Damn it. I threw a rope and I didn't get bailed out.
Sorry.
Anyway, there's a new cartoon series. It's going to be based on basically the characters in Star Trek that don't, that like
the red shirts.
Pipes.
Yeah.
Or the guy who repairs the food replicator.
Yeah. Which is such it's a great idea.
Yeah. So anyway, that's another series that's going to be coming out based on Star Trek. But the Orville, that is season 2, Sunday, December 30th is when we get to see that. All right. A show that, getting to the Jemaine Clement step 1 here of today's episode. What We Do in the Shadows. If you haven't seen it, we've talked about it endlessly on here, and it's such a great, great mockumentary.
And I've said, many times that it's my favorite since Spinal Tap. And I do love all the other Christopher Guest stuff. Please don't get me wrong that A Mighty Wind is fantastic. Best in Show is fantastic. But I'm also a big vampire guy. So, they're turning this into a TV series for America. And that's the American spinoff.
And that's the clip that we just showed right there. Was from that. It was a clip from the upcoming television series.
Right. And we only get like 2 tiny 20-second clips. And, when I talked to Jemaine, he was in the middle of working on this series right now up in Toronto, Canada. He was talking about how, it's kind of hard when you're shooting a vampire series because you work late at night, of course.
Right.
So he's working till 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. because I asked him, have you talked to Brett much? Or do you guys still hang out? I was like, I haven't really talked to anyone. I've been working, all night, every night, working on this show. So, and he and Taika Waititi, Thor director and Concord's director, and they're collaborators, and they co-created the original movie. They've been working on the series sort of piecemeal back and forth. If you don't know the origins of that movie, they wrote a lot of it by email, just going back and forth to each other. So I think that's kind of how they're working on the show right now. But
that's
because Taika Waititi is actually directing stuff for Disney on the new Star Wars series. After he did Thor, he's blowing up.
Well, they both kind of blown up. I mean, they're both for sure just stars. And this What We Do in the Shadows, though, I'm already excited for
the teasers look hilarious. If you haven't,
it's April of next year.
Yeah, we showed the little clip, and they're very short, but go on YouTube and look at them. They look really funny.
There's a bunch of them, and you talked to Jemaine here in just a little bit on this episode. Jemaine Clement will be on via tape delay with Ryan. So yeah, it happened. So we're going to be playing a little part of that here, and then if you're listening to the audio podcast, you'll get the entire thing. So right now, if you have your computers out, go to iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, hit subscribe on between the streams. Okay, something else. Let's talk about just networks in general. You brought up. Some of the different, we talked at the beginning how some networks are fighting. It seems like Disney's taking stuff away from Netflix and all this. Well, now there's an HBO one that happened today. There's a tug of war going on with HBO essentially, and AT&T, which now controls Time Warner, which controls HBO, pulled HBO off of the Dish Network and Sling TV.
Right.
Which is a big thing. It happened yesterday.
Their contract negotiations broke, and HBO went dark at midnight for all Dish Network and Sling TV subscribers.
Which, and by the way, just going back to when I was just way call back when I was struggling with the animated thing, it was Rick and Morty. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Man,
anyway, fast forward back to now. So yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how you would feel if you were you're a subscriber, like, I'm going to go catch up on the Deuce tonight. Oh, wait a minute. It's gone.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a good thing that this is a good time for it to happen because it's in between Westworlds and in between Game of Thrones. If this was in the middle of the Game of Thrones thing, like you might have, I don't know if anybody's playing is tough, but there's a lot behind the scenes here, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but AT&T is a massive media conglomerate. They own everything. They own the distribution and the content. Oh, they are a monopoly.
No.
There is no... I mean, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but there's no way you cannot think of them as a monopoly. They own telecom stuff. They own cell phone towers all over the United States. They will bring the TV to your door through DirecTV, which they also bought in a controversial $48.5 billion merger a few years back. And they own all the content. And Time Warner isn't just HBO, obviously. It's Turner Broadcasting. That's CNN, TNT, that kind of stuff. It's Warner Brothers Broadcasting, movies and studio stuff. So they own all of this stuff, and then they own DirecTV, of course, which is a direct competitor to Dish Network when it comes to satellite services. Plus, they both have their own streaming services that are competitors. And
headache trying to
right. So then AT&T pulled HBO from its direct rival. So it's a he said she said thing. Of course, AT&T said that Dish is talking tough at the table and being unreasonable. And Dish for its part says AT&T is a massive conglomerate and they're using their power to basically squeeze us. And one more thing to add, and then we'll be done with this, but AT&T has been doing stuff like giving HBO free to its subscribers on their phones and stuff like that, which is just exactly why they don't want these monopolies to have this kind of power because you shouldn't have that
you can have it for free
to snuff out the competition. Yeah, exactly.
And that's totally it. I mean, let alone, and I like HBO program. I subscribe to HBO actually, but HBO. But now a lot of these customers that aren't getting it on Sling TV, why wouldn't they just go to I can get it on HBO now then?
Yeah, or DirecTV now.
Or DirecTV. Or
maybe if they want their streaming service, maybe they'll get it from DirecTV now.
Yeah, it's a real dicey situation there. I mean, I kind of doubt any consequences are going to happen for AT&T.
Doesn't look like it.
I think they're going to get away with that, at least.
But the Justice Department does have a lawsuit happening right now, and it's still in play, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it's going to be not happening a lot. But
we do have a piece about this on Digital Trends real quick, which explains this stuff if you're interested in the inner workings. Rick Marshall wrote it, and it's pretty interesting.
Of how this is all going to go down, because these are the kinds of things that will affect you.
Just kind of the implications of it,
Yeah, whether you're interested in it right now or not, this is the kind of thing that's going to affect you.
Yeah.
What you watch, it will be affected in some way, shape, or form by these kinds of actions. Well, let's talk about HBO though, because we did get some news this week. A couple of different things. One of them just breaking today. But we'll get to that in a second. But we did find out more about the Game of Thrones prequel series that's going to be starting up. I believe they start filming beginning of next year. So I'm gonna guess we'll probably won't see it till 2020. And that's just just guessing. But with these kinds of series, I bet it'll be 2020 or end of 2019. But regardless, we are getting a prequel series, maybe multiple, but at least one. And they've already done some casting on it. And Naomi Watts has been cast in a lead role on the new Game of Thrones prequel.
It's interesting because they have not gone with the big stars before as much. I mean, they did have Boromir, and I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Boy, we're really
it's a bad day for names.
Yeah.
But so they did have one
about
big
Ned
name.
Stark, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Ned Stark, exactly.
Yeah.
But, not to ruin it for you, but he doesn't last particularly long in the series.
Wow.
So it should be interesting to see what they do. I think Naomi Watts
Sean Bean?
great. Sean Bean. Yep,
Thank you.
But yeah, I think Naomi Watts is great. So it's great to see her in this. I think she's always good in whatever she's in. But it is interesting that they have a big star on this one.
And that's the thing. I like her too, but I don't know. I kind of like with Game of Thrones how it was before. I mean, not that there weren't some, they're all very good actors. Not that they hadn't done anything beforehand, but it was kind of nice you could get into the character a little more.
Yeah, I kind of see this though.
Naomi Watts is a great actor.
I kind of see this as like their Kate Blanchett a little bit from Lord of the Rings. It's kind of it gives me that kind of vibe. So I think they can do it right. But it is interesting to hear their first thing is like, well, we got a big star for this.
Yeah, big star.
So give me a star, kid.
Naomi Watts and Josh Whitehouse is the other one. So there's somebody I'm not as familiar with, but Josh Whitehouse, who is in some other movies that I haven't seen, to be honest. So Josh Whitehouse, another role, at least as far as cast. So I'm sure we're going to be finding out a lot more about casting on this series. And then the big thing today, because this is coming out in January 2019, True Detective Season 3 is on its way. And we got a full-length trailer that came out. The True Detective Season 3 is going to star...
And it is all Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali
he is the only
awesome.
person in this trailer pretty much.
Yeah.
And that is good news for, I think, anybody who's going to be a fan of this show because he's awesome.
Exactly.
It seems to all sort of revolve around his character. So I think that's really good news.
And I won't say much about Luke Cage. I'm not going to spoil anything, but more Mahershala Ali would have been awesome.
I agree. And Stephen Dorff is in this too. He looks like he's going to play his partner, and there's some other interesting roles. Yeah. But watching this trailer, it's all Ali.
It really feels reminiscent, though, that vibe of the first season of True Detective.
It feels a lot like that.
And they did bring
jumping
back,
around in time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Nick Pizzolatto is the creator. He's back. He created and wrote this third season. I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that. So that's True Detective Season 3 coming out in January 2019. All right, something else. We're going to talk about some Netflix news here in just a second, and then we're going to be getting to our interview with Jemaine Clement. Jemaine Clement. I know, I started to say two things at one time. Boy, words are really difficult for Between the Streams today. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with that. Jemaine Clement. Bad Boys Season 3 is what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to get. Bad Boys 3, not Season 3. Bad Boys 3, the movie, is happening. That was really hard for me to work through that, but I made it.
Yeah, they've been working on this movie
for
about
Bad Boys movie.
Decade. Yeah, they've been working on this movie for about a decade, so we'll see how.
Yeah, I mean, can they really still do all the Bad Boys stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to be doing in this one?
That Scientology just keeps you young.
Oh, that's true. There we go. That is a good point. I didn't think about that. Is Martin Lawrence a Scientologist?
I don't think so.
I can't picture that, but
Martin Lawrence has not been in anything for a long time.
So well, that's true.
Should be interesting.
That's true. Yeah. Well, they are back, and Will Smith posted a picture of the two of them, I believe, filming for it. So we will be getting Bad Boys 3. All right, let's talk about a few things on Netflix, and then let's get to the star of the show today because we're going to play some of the Jemaine Clement. Gosh dang it.
Just keep going.
Now it's in my head.
Just keep going.
Jemaine Clement interview.
You can make it.
Here in just a second. Let's talk about Netflix, though. We did find out some more things about The Witcher. The Witcher is getting its own series on Netflix, and they have cast Henry Cavill as a star, but we actually got a video showing Henry Cavill as The Witcher, which I got to admit, he looks a lot like him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
It's the hair.
It's the hair, but I mean, just the actions. He looks like the video game character, and then he does a little, sip of the potion there at the end of it. I mean, it's It's pretty good. So we're going to be getting that series. I thought that was pretty cool that they posted that. I think that could really turn into a good series.
Yeah, I like
Something
Henry
I'll
Cavill.
watch.
He's fun.
10-episode series.
I don't know anything about The Witcher, but I like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
So we'll have that. Some other renewals coming from Netflix. So some things that weren't canceled. Castlevania Season 3. Castlevania coming up for another season there. We've got BoJack Horseman renewed for Season 6 of BoJack Horseman.
Very excited for that.
One that I think Ryan's probably very excited about, Fuller House Season 4.
So there's 3 seasons of this?
I know. That's the same thing I thought.
What do they shoot these, like 20-minute shots?
I think so. Yeah, they're just rattling
They
out.
just have this like on computer. Is this like an algorithm that pumps these suckers out?
How many seasons were in the first Full House?
I have no...
Because at this point, they're going to start passing it.
Yeah, I think the first one went pretty long, actually.
Well, I don't know. Well, December 14th, you will be able to see a brand new season of Fuller House.
Just stop it.
Ryan won't be there.
Stop doing that.
Around. All right, so we've got that, and then something else I just wanted to bring up, and this is not a Netflix original series, but something that airs on Netflix, and I wanted to talk about this, and it is a series called Schitt's Creek. So it's SCHITT, Schitt's Creek. It is their season 4 just kind of dropped on Netflix not very long ago, and this series, I love this series so much. I cannot recommend it enough. It starts off a little slow. It takes you a little bit to understand the characters, but the growth of the characters in this town, it's easy to watch. It's fun to watch. Each character is so unique, and Daniel Levy is the best thing ever.
Yeah, and it's got some real Arrested Development vibe.
Yep,
a rich
a lot of
family
that.
Loses all their wealth, and they have to figure it out and band together, and they're terrible people.
Yeah, they're terrible
but it
people,
also
then
has
they
a
grow.
really great cast.
Well, and through the seasons, though, they change that. Like,
Yeah.
they actually grow the characters a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a really good series. Yeah.
Great cast.
So it is a great cast. So Schitt's Creek. All right, we are going to talk about Jemaine Clement, but did you want to discuss the other movie that he's in?
Well, we discussed a little bit in the interview, so I think
I didn't know if
just
you
go
wanted to
right
do that.
into it. Yeah.
Okay, go right into the interview.
Yep.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play part of this Jemaine Clement interview that Ryan recorded earlier in the week, and then we'll have a post that goes up about this on Monday. But if you want to hear the full audio of it, if you're watching the video version right now, listen to the audio version, and you'll get the full interview.
Yeah, about 15 minutes worth. So.
Yep, so you'll get the full thing. But right now, we're just going to play a clip of it. Here it is, Ryan Juanita with Jemaine Clement.
So we talked to Reese Darby a while back, and we talked about the We're Wolves project when it was in its early stages, which is that sequel to What We Do in the Shadows. Any idea what's going on with that project?
We haven't done anything on that project because Clark and I have mostly been working separately, and I'm in Toronto right now filming the American adaptation of What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Right. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question.
I've been working. Yeah, I've been working on that, and I did another show in New Zealand, which is also related to What We Do in the Shadows. We had no idea that we were going to end up doing two, spin-offs from that film. We thought we would do one sequel, and then we've ended up doing two other things that kind of took us by surprise, but have been really fun.
I mean, that's one of my favorite mockumentaries. I think it's the best one since Spinal Tap. Are you guys still planning a sequel?
Thanks.
Absolutely.
We haven't really been planning anything. I've been working on. So Tucker and I made a pilot at the start of the year for the American version, which I'm really happy with. I wrote it and Tucker directed it. Now I'm directing a few episodes of this, and then Tucker comes. We haven't been, we've kind of been working separately on the same thing.
That's awesome. Well, so you are.
We haven't had time to also do any planning on that film idea.
Gotcha. But you are going to be in the TV show as well?
It's possible.
It's possible. Okay.
I'm not telling.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be watching it one way or another.
The TV show is not about our characters.
Right.
It's about different characters that live in America.
I got you. Okay. Well, that worked out for The Office, so it seems like that's a good idea.
Well, The Office, the Office is kind of the same characters with different names.
That's true, I guess. That's a good point.
I think we put it in a little bit more thought than The Office did. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's good then.
It's like, oh, what shall Tim be called? Oh, Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
I like both those shows, though.
I did have a question though about Legion. I know your character Oliver.
There are going to be some teasers on. I think it could be tomorrow night even on
really? Really?
For the new show.
That's amazing.
I think so, for Halloween.
Awesome.
Is it Halloween tomorrow?
Yeah.
We don't celebrate Halloween, so I never know when it is.
So that's for Legion? Or for What We Do in the Shadows?
No, for the What We Do in the Shadows USA.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just going to ask real quick. So your character Oliver got a huge, got a big bump in Legion's second season. So I have two questions. One, was this always planned, or was it your Ice Cube scene, Ice Cube episode that nailed it? And also, two, do you know which turntable they used in that movie? I thought maybe you would, since you're a musician, or in that TV show.
Turntable, isn't it? I didn't read what the model was.
No.
I don't know if it was always planned. I actually didn't know what Legion was when I signed up to it. I just knew I liked Noah Hawley's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
From watching Fargo.
Yeah, it's such a cool character that you play.
It wasn't even called. Yeah, it wasn't called Legion when they sent it to me, because they kind of protect the name and they keep it secret, and they have a kind of code name. So they give me the code name, so I didn't even know that it was a Marvel property or anything like that.
It's super fun, the character that you bring to the table, because you have to play sort of.
It is fun, yeah.
He doesn't quite know what's going on, and you get to kind of put your spin on it. Yeah,
and it's always fun that show, because they are always trying to surprise people. So you turn up to work and it's some crazy visual image that they've created.
Yeah.
And you're wandering around in it.
Yeah, the Ice Cube episode is one of the most memorable episodes I've seen on TV for a long time. It's just really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you know if you'll be in season 3?
Yeah, I'm curious to know. If you find out, let me know.
All right, I'll talk to my people. I'll see what I can do.
Okay, thanks.
So getting back to Beverly, Luff, Linn, and that's 2 words, Luff, Linn. You're used to playing a lot of extremely funny, oddball characters, but in this one, every character is so strange. It feels like Colin is. You're really funny. I think you're the funniest person in it, but he sort of comes off as like the only normal person. Was that kind of a nice change of pace?
Yeah, I didn't really think about that when we were doing it. I was just trying to, be Colin, but in a normal movie he wouldn't be the most normal person. Just in that movie,
exactly.
In any other film, he'd be the weirdest character.
All right, there is part of the Jemaine Clement interview.
There you got it.
Here on
you had to
Digital
do some
Trends.
correcting.
Yes, Ryan did some coaching.
Off camera.
Off camera on there. But if you were listening to the audio podcast, then you just got the entire interview. So here's the thing. If you're watching on video, we love it that you watch on video. But also hit subscribe to the audio podcast, because that's where you get bonus things. Like the entire 16-minute interview with Jemaine Clement. What else did you talk about in that?
Oh, we talk about a ton of stuff. Their new TV show. We talked about Legion, his possibility of being on season 3, and how he got on that TV show. We talked about his new movie, Beverly, Luff, Linn, of course, and all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. So check that out right there. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Between the Streams. We do really appreciate everybody joining us every week. Like I said, hit subscribe. Send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com. Let us know if there's some shows or some series or movies or something that we've missed, because there's so much out there on the landscape right now that it's hard for us to even catch up with everything. But we do our best to bring you up to speed every week with Between the Streams. Thanks for tuning in. We got a special time today. We're a couple hours later, but normally we'll be live Friday, noon Pacific, every week, and we will be right here again next week with another episode.